People that are just Kool-Aid drinkers and cult members to like the Alex Jones message or Donald Trump. But when people take an individual path to also be their own false leader, there's usually a reason why they have the support that they have and the funding that they have. And so when we talk about Portland being a target city, well, this takes us back to old school OTB TV, doesn't it? Takes us back even to 2007 when we were talking about Top Off 4, a federal exercise in 2007 that brought together the alphabet agencies and the Portland Emergency Response Team. Even Ted Wheeler was a part of it. He worked for Multnomah County in some position, I believe, at the time. And so Ted Wheeler, who's not very trusting of the federal government at this time, I wonder if he is questioning what Top Off 4 was all about, or maybe he questioned it from the beginning. You know, initially I thought maybe Ted Wheeler would be an agent of the government, of the elite, of the establishment, and that could be the case. And then again, that could not be the case. There could also be elements of the establishment that are fighting each other, and the way that you're getting the proper context or the way that you're receiving the news and information is not necessarily in the proper context. So there could be levels of infighting within our own oligarchy. And there does seem to be elements of that, but ultimately you have the silence about the issues that matter. You have people that are marginalized as conspiracy theorists. And there's plenty of us that are independents, that aren't Democrats or Republicans, that have suffered from that type of discrimination and labeling. And it's something that we suffer from to this day. I mean, like, there's all these other issues, but ultimately when you're labeled and seen as one of those people, that gets into the real issues, and there's not really a place for us in our society, it hurts, and it hurts to keep going. So, you know, if I wanted to get involved in Portland politics or maybe give advice to those that are involved at the center stage of these events, they're only going to listen to so much of what I have to say. But then again, there's another part of me that wonders if the tide is yet turning. Yes, I see they've made a declaration against white supremacy, but we still have systemic racism, which includes towards various people. And I talk about anti-themism on this channel, and I'll do another video about anti-themism and how white supremacists often use people of color, black conservatives in the modern day and age, where they're coming together to demonize all Muslims or call for the deportation of all Muslims. And that's not, how is that in line with the teachings of Jesus? So when you have people that are so willing to be deceivers to our face, when it's all in plain sight who their associations are and what their talking points are, you got to wonder why they would put their name on the line unless maybe they're being paid. Being that I've talked about, you know, the idea of the invasion of Portland for a long, long time and the United States from foreign military forces, knowing the foreign government influence to influence the Facebook social media feed, right? One would have to question if these people that are operating in the Pacific Northwest are getting support from other forces. And it's the things that they don't talk about. While they present themselves to be Constitution-loving Americans that believe in love for all. You know, I think that we're seeing a massive deception from the Joey Gibsons of the world, the Proud Boys, Gavin McInnes. It's not just Alex Jones. So there literally is a network of disinformation. And for some people, it is like a possession. So, you know, when I look at the Pied Piper in Portland, Oregon, known as Joey Gibson, he may also just simply be an agent to the archons and is being rewarded by the devil of this world, also known to some as the god of this world. You know, we're not alone in this universe. That's the supernatural take that I kind of bring to this whole analysis of what's taking place in Portland, Oregon. You know, what we're dealing with is a place that has been overrun by evil spirits. And who knows really when this began. I've been narrating this for a number of years, the real Portlandia, as opposed to the false progressive Portlandia that they do like to sell us. But is there something special about Portland that did lead to things like my own birth, other realities, things that are unique to Portland, me waking up to certain truths in Portland? And there was a reason why I think I was meant to live there and even be on cable TV there, cable access television, talking about a number of issues. Sometimes I wonder if anyone remembers me, or if, you know, it's just more or less barely a memory at this point. But I feel like my earliest stuff, some of my earliest content was focusing on warning the people. Warning the people. And so when one talks about a major shift after 2012, and not necessarily for the better, along with the idea of cities that at one point had their golden years facing their own type of invasion and fall. Well, I think that we can see that in Portland. I can see that the rise in individuals that are trucked in to Portland, Oregon for the political sport fight, right? And I'm not on either side, but in some cases you have a lesser of evils. In some cases it goes back and forth. And so anytime you have people like violating people's right to travel, elements of Antifa, that's not good. But does that reflect on every human being that has an original thought that isn't going to go along with the Trump agenda? And that's the level of fascism that I do think that we have reached. That if you think for yourself, you could be called Antifa. Or if someone is speaking about a personal experience that they've had, now people are programmed to call them a social justice warrior. All the programming is in place to take our already mentally unstable society to the next level. So the real focus needs to be on deprogramming. And I'm going to be heralding through maybe a number of new YouTube channels for new audience members without all the conspiratorial baggage that my own channel has. It's not so much about money, it's about reaching out to other people, because this algorithm isn't supporting us finding others of like minds that are outside the left-right paradigm. However, we still do have an internet, and if people out there are searching for a particular subject, and if we're tapped in enough to realize that there is an element of our society that may be attempting to make a major shift in consciousness. You know, I saw a video last night, and it was